Definitely a potentially heated debate. People may say, okay, sure, religion is an important part of this country, but not just the Christian religion, not just the Bible. What do you say to that?
Well, thanks for having us on, Katrina. I appreciate you and Bob, and we appreciate Newsmaxx getting the word out. And thanks for hanging with President Trump all that length of time, by the way.
Glad to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, y'all did a yeoman's job there. Look, I served in the Texas legislature for 4 years before I got demoted to Congress. So I've got that experience, and my beautiful bride of almost 50 years, be November the 6th, be 50 years for us. She taught fourth grade 29 years. I've watched this whole process since Reagan ran for re-election. I got involved in '83. Texas legislature is on track. We're not afraid to stand up for God. You know, you go back to our declaration. We hold this truth to be certain inalienable rights given to us by our Creator. When I ran for state rep, Katrina, guy stood up in the back and said, "You're violating the separation of church and state." And I said, No. Look, here's the thing. How are you going to separate church and state? You're going to cut me this way, or you're going to cut me this way? Notice the picture of the cross. We are a religious country. We were founded on that, and I'm tired of the left trying to make us something that we're not.
Have this and what students can learn. You know, some of this is also historical. Some of the most iconic stories of all time.
Yes.
Talking about the book of Job, the parable of the prodigal son. That's one of the greatest stories of all time. Here he comes back, he comes home here. Talk about that aspect of it.
Well, absolutely. What it means is there's forgiveness. I'm a Christian. I'll say it this way. There's forgiveness at the foot of the cross. You have a father who represents Jesus, who represents God, who yearns for his children to come to him. That's exactly what's taught in that what you're talking about, that scenario. And that's throughout the Bible. It's not just there. We used to be primarily a Christian nation. Unfortunately, our Supreme Court has come up with some crazy rulings. And unfortunately, people have said, look, we're no longer a Christian nation because we can't be, one nation under God anymore. And it's crazy that people think that.
I want to get your thoughts on this. Obviously, a key Senate race happening in your state of Texas. And of course, I want to get to what Democratic nominee James Tallarico had to say about Christianity. Now, this is newly revealed audio from a few years ago from 2021. Let's listen.
I always think of myself as a Christian who hates Christianity,
yep.
Right? And I always get drawn back into it.
He is a Christian who hates Christianity. Don't really understand that. Do you?
It sounds to me like he's a man who hates manhood.
I think he does, too. He has an issue with that as well.
Yeah.
Sounds like
and his own race,
amen.
too. He's talking
sounds
about
like
that.
He's a politician who hates politics.
Yeah.
He's really interesting. He's something.
It just seems to me, and again, and whether the issue is masculinity or religion or whatever it is, it does sound, though, like this particular candidate is just sort of an empty vessel for whatever the progressive Democratic talking points du jour are, and maybe doesn't even have kind of his own philosophy. Your take on this race, and we're just out of time, so final thoughts.
Well, absolutely. He's one of these that does this, test the air. In Texas, that doesn't fly. We want people who are solid Texas values, and let's face it, that includes biblical values. And so we want somebody in Texas who will stand up for what's right and not vacillate, hoping to make somebody unhappy, not be unhappy with them.
Well, I'll tell you what, the internet doesn't forget either, Congressman.
Yes,
too.
exactly.
All those clips, they're all online, and every now and again we'll play them.
For better or for worse, yes.
Yes, we will. All the genders and everything. All right. Congressman Randy Weber, sir, it's a pleasure. You have a great weekend. Thanks for coming on.
Thank y'all for what you do.